everyone, it's Chrissie and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another San Sequoia speed build. So yes, today we're actually back in San Sequoia and we're actually building a community lot. This is the first community lot that I've built with the, I think this is the first community lot I've built with the Growing Together pack, and it's also the first community lot I've built in San Sequoia as well. So today we're actually building on the 18 Celebration Way lot. So this is that really weird 40 by 20 lot in the Gilbert Gardens area of the world. This is a really odd lot in the sense that it's very different from any other lot that we have in the game. Not only because it's a 40 by 20 and we literally only have... Honestly, I can only think of one other 40 by 20 lot that we have in the entire game. I could be wrong, but I only know of the one that's in Newcrest, and that one is oriented a little bit differently. So that one is basically like portrait style orientation, where, you know, you look at it, the front of the lot is the shorter side, so it goes back really far. Whereas this one is more landscape orientation, in the sense where the front of the lot is the long side of the lot and it's wider than it is long, if that makes sense. But yeah, this is the only other 40 by 20 lot that I actually know of, like off the top of my head. Like I said, I could be wrong, but I honestly think this might be the only other 40 by 20 that we have. And also there's roads on three sides of this lot, like the sidewalk. It's kind of in this weird little, like, not roundabout area in the road, but it's this weird little, like, almost median that, you know, there's just a lot on for some reason. And like three sides of the lot has actual like sidewalks around it, and the other side has a really small like grass area with trees and landscaping and stuff. So yeah, it's a really odd lot, if I'm being completely honest. I can't see myself building anything here other than community lots, just because it's literally in the middle of the freaking road. So for me, my brain kind of doesn't really think that having a family home here would make all that much sense. Or at least if you did, it would probably be very irritating to have like roads on all four sides of your house. That kind of sounds like a nightmare. Now, obviously, the Sims don't care about traffic and, you know, all of that stuff. But in real life, it would be very annoying. So, yeah, I can't see myself building anything here other than a community lot. So, what we're actually building today, I probably should have said this at the beginning of the video instead of going off on a random tangent. But what we're actually building today is a restaurant and cafe. So, in the game, obviously, we don't have multifunctional lots. It's not a thing. So you either have to set this lot as a restaurant or as a cafe, but I did make sure that it's set up in a way where you could really easily just change the lot type and you will have all of the stuff that you need for both of those different lot types. So the little small building to the left is actually where the cafe is, and then the one to the right that's a little bit bigger that also has like the basement is where the restaurant is going to be. So the basement is basically going to have the kitchen area, kind of like an employees only area. And that's going to have the kitchen. There's going to be like a little locker room for the employees. That's not really, doesn't really serve a purpose apart from realism. But yeah, there's a little locker room down there. And then there's also some storage for like restaurant stuff. And then upstairs we have this really big open dining area where I'm actually going to be putting in a like bar and having it like curve around, and that's also where the host station is going to be, and that's also going to be like a little, you know, kind of like the access to the employee area. And then at the back of it we have the bathrooms, and then to, you know, the building on the left is where we have the little cafe. So that entire building is just like the cafe area, and then behind it, where I did that little like fenced off area with the archway, that's actually where we're going to have a little community garden. But before I talk about that, I want to mention this sign that you can see me working on right now. That sign, the base of it, like the whole base of it, like the big part, is actually one of the new rec center signs that came with Growing Together. and it has like the rec center kind of like logo stuff on it, but I wanted it to look like a restaurant sign. So what I did is I took that wall sign from Dine Out, sized it down a little bit, maneuvered it, you know, raised it up, like moved it a little bit to kind of cover that area, cover that like rec center sign, and then I just put my own sign on it, and now it's a restaurant sign, which I think was actually pretty, like, it actually turned out really, really well. And obviously you can do that with other signs as well. You don't have to use the like little like spoon, not spoon, but little like plates and fork and knife sign that I use for the restaurant. You could put something else on there. You could put like a vet sign on there, or, you know, anything that you want. Basically, you kind of just have to use something to cover up the rec center like looking sign that's behind it. So that's actually really cool. One thing though is I wish we could size that sign, like the rec center one, I wish we could size it up or down, because it could be so useful for other stuff as well, but we can't because it has that little like waterfall detail to it. And obviously if you size it up or down, then the water isn't going to size with it, so it's going to look really, really strange. So yeah, that's a little bit of an annoying thing. But yeah, so this is a restaurant, like I said, and by the name I think you could probably tell that it's supposed to be a little bit more of a eco green type of restaurant. Now, it's not a vegetarian restaurant at all. I did put a couple of, you know, meat items, like meat dishes and stuff like that on the menu. When I did like a whole custom menu for it. I did, you know, the employee outfits and everything like that. We'll actually have a look at that at the end of the video when I do the tour for you guys. But I did all of that stuff. Now, I didn't want to make it just a vegetarian restaurant simply because the game doesn't have all that many vegetarian options, if I'm being completely honest. And I kind of want to use this in my own gameplay as well. And when I do that, I want the menu to be absolutely huge. I know some people prefer having small menus when they build or play with restaurants. I'm the exact opposite. I like having huge menus with like a ton of options. I think you can have like 30 options for each category. So for like drinks, appetizers, you know, stuff like that, you can have 30 like things for each category. I like to have all of them maxed out because whenever I bring my Sims here, I like them to be able to order different things, and I want to like bring them, I want to be able to bring them here multiple times without them having to like order the same thing over and over. So yeah, I like having options, and that's always what I do when I build restaurants. If you've ever downloaded one of my restaurant builds, you'll have probably noticed that. But obviously that's also really easy to change. So you could easily go in, open up the menu, and delete some of the items if you wanted to. You could also go in, delete all of the meat items that I have on the menu, and have this be a vegetarian restaurant. That was my original idea, if I'm being completely honest. I did start this off with thinking that, oh, this can be a vegetarian restaurant. They even have that little like garden out the back that I mentioned, where I figured, you know, I thought the owners of the restaurant would also own the cafe, so it would be the same owners. So I carried a lot of the same decor and color scheme and stuff throughout both buildings. But I figured, you know, since they also own the cafe, they obviously also own the garden behind it. So I figured, you know, whoever owns the restaurant, maybe they grow some of their own produce and they use some of the fruits and veggies and stuff that they grow in their food. I thought that would be a great way of making like a vegetarian, vegan restaurant. And then when I went to go set up the menus, I just threw that idea out of the window because I wanted to use like regular meat items, so, or meat dishes, I guess I should say. So yeah, that's just something that I wanted to mention. But yeah, like I said, very easy to change up the menu. Like, it doesn't take a lot of fiddling or anything like that. It takes like 2 seconds. So yeah, you could totally do that. But yeah, we've moved on to the basement, and this is actually where we have the little locker room. I cannot speak. I literally just did the I just did the voiceover for the Foundry Family Park build, the base game one that I did on Wednesday. I just finished that voiceover, and I'm doing this one right afterwards because I kind of want to get a little bit ahead with videos this week, because I'm going to try and do a bigger build for Sunday, and that's going to take me ages. So I don't want to have to worry about like Friday, which is today when you're seeing this. I don't want to have to worry about Friday's video when I'm trying to get a bigger build done. So that's why I'm pre-recording this a little bit. I'm also recording this before we have any news of an update or anything like that. I know last week we got a laundry list where they talked about some of the fixes that they're going to be doing, I think, in the next update, which a lot of people seem to think that that update is going to be today when I'm recording this. I'm recording this on Tuesday, by the way, and I'm recording this in the middle of the afternoon, so the update isn't out yet. So I don't know, even if we will have an update today, so I can't talk about anything of that. So just to give you guys an idea, if we did end up getting a really big update or like a really cool update or whatever, and I'm not talking about it, then that would be why, because it's not out yet, if it even comes out today. But yeah, so back to the build. So over here we just have the kitchen. I tried to clutter up the kitchen without making it too cluttered and unusable, because in the past, where with restaurants in particular, I've placed down clutter and stuff in kitchens, and then my Sims wouldn't be able to use like the chef stations or stuff like that for some weird reason, even though it shouldn't, like, nothing should be interfering, they just couldn't. So with this one I really tried to keep that in mind, and I did playtest it. It does work, you're all good. And then downstairs obviously we also have the little locker room, the little storage area, and that's basically it for the basement. Now over here we have the interior of the restaurant, and then we have the bathrooms at the back. Now the bathrooms are really simple. They just have 2 toilet stalls, they have obviously sinks and stuff like that. But I also put down a changing table, the one that goes up against the wall, like the communal one, the community lot one. I used that, and this is actually the first time that I built with that, because like I said, I haven't done any community lots since we've gotten growing together. So yeah, this is the first time that I'm getting to use that. But also I did put down a changing table, but I didn't put down like pretty much anything else for toddlers or infants. I do have a play mat in the cafe, so in my head, if your Sims came here to the cafe in particular, they could get their coffee or whatever and put the infant down next to the chair where they're sitting or something like that. So I do have a playmat in there, but I have nothing else for children or toddlers or infants on this lot whatsoever. But again, it's really easy to change it up and add stuff like that. So you could really easily, in the restaurant, you could really easily remove one of the chairs from a table or something and put down a high chair just slotted to the table. And then you can bring your toddlers here, they can sit with you at the table, all of that stuff. Or you can put down like some high chairs somewhere else, maybe like next to a table without having it slotted to it. And that could also totally work. Basically, I really wanted that changing table and I really wanted to use it, so I did. And it's also, for me personally, it's very realistic, because every restaurant that I've been in, if I can speak, that would be great. But every restaurant that I've been in, if I've been in their bathrooms, they always have a kind of like mommy and like baby kind of bathroom. So it's usually a separate bathroom or like a separate changing room that they have, where they have space for mothers or parents to change their like babies or infants or whatever, to change their diapers. Usually they'll have space for I almost said for your Sims. Yeah, I'm talking about real life at the moment. They're not Sims. But usually they'll also in there, they'll have like space for for the parents to like breastfeed as well. So I obviously didn't do that in like this restaurant, because your Sims can't they don't really care about stuff like that, so I didn't do that. But they have space to change the babies if they bring them here for some reason. But yeah, we're currently working on the chairs. So I cut out so much of this process because I changed up the chairs, like the dining chairs that I used, I think like 6 times before I finally just decided, you know what, screw it. We're going to go with these green chairs from Growing Together, and we're going to use them in the restaurant and outside on the patios, because this place also has a ton of outdoor seating. So I wanted to make sure that, you know, if the weather isn't great, if it's raining or whatever, then your Sims can sit inside. But if the weather is nice, then there's a lot of space for them to sit outside as well. And originally I was trying to use those green chairs inside the restaurant, and I wanted to use, you know, different chairs in the cafe that, you know, still fit the same style, but maybe just in a different color scheme, because I wanted, you know, I wanted to use this kind of like peachy pink, and I was going for like a darker green as well, and then this lighter wood combined with the like more warm wood. It was a whole thing. But basically I wanted it to look bright and airy and just like, I don't know, just like, yeah, basically just bright and inviting and warm. And yeah, so I wanted to use some different chairs in the cafe, and then I also tried using different chairs outside, and it was just a whole thing, and I didn't like the way it was looking. So I ended up just using the same chairs outside that I used in the restaurant, and I just called it a day. And I have different ones in the cafe still, but they're also from Growing Together. They're also those like Kinder-made chairs. They're the really uncomfortable looking ones, but I really liked the way they looked. So I decided that I wasn't going to care about how comfortable they actually are. I kind of cared more about how they looked. So yeah, you have that. And then in the cafe, we actually also have a couple of bar seats. We have a wall that's just like bar counters and then bar stools. And on those, I already did it, but you'll have seen that I tried placing down laptops on the bar counters, and then I actually placed them. I did this trick where you place an item on a bar counter, and then if you scale the counter down as much as you can, and you have move objects on obviously, then you can place that counter inside a different counter. So that's kind of like how I have those laptops at an angle on the counter. It looks like they're kind of like at an angle. And oh, I haven't done it yet. We're gonna do it right now so you can actually see it. So originally I had them placed normally like that, but then I put them on a different counter, sized it down, and just hid the counter in the regular one. And now it looks like your Sims were actually sitting there with their laptops, and you know, it's not super straight or anything like that, but it looks kind of a little bit more realistic, a little bit more used. And another like bonus of that is the fact that those laptops aren't actually functional, because they're not technically, I mean, they're technically on a counter, so if you were to slot a chair to that counter, then it would work. But they're not on the counter that has a chair slotted to it. So your Sims can't actually use them, which is great, because I really wanted to add those laptops, because I wanted the cafe to look like, you know, your Sims could come here, they could maybe get some work done, maybe they came here to get some studying done or whatever. But I didn't want to place them down and then have Sims constantly going in there to use use the computer, because that will happen. So, you know, doing it that way meant that I have it for aesthetics, but it won't mess with gameplay, and your Sims won't constantly want to go on the computer. So yeah, that's great. I really love the way that turned out. And those bar counters are all totally functional as well, by the way. Even though I technically have another one hid inside them, they're still functional. It doesn't interfere with them. Sometimes you have to be a little bit careful with doing stuff like that. You know, if you have it like on the wrong space of a counter, like on the wrong part of the footprint, it won't work. But other times, you know, you just have to move it a tiny bit. But I did play test it, like I said, it all works. So yeah, it should be good to go. And yeah, that's just something fun that I wanted to mention. Now, I think that's everything that I wanted to mention about this build. I mean, this is supposed to be like a very eco, kind of more modern, contemporary type of build. So I wanted to carry through all of the kind of like color scheme throughout the whole thing, like I already mentioned. And I did try and reuse some of the exterior wallpapers and like exterior textures and siding and stuff on the inside, just because I really liked the way that looked. I liked the, I don't know, I liked the stuff that I used outside, so I tried bringing it inside just in a little bit of like a different color swatch. But yeah, over here in the cafe, you'll see that I placed down that little like, I guess, I don't know what it's actually called, but it's like this little shelf with like storage stuff. I think you're supposed to put it maybe in like a high school, because it is from high school years. So I don't know if that's supposed to go in a high school like behind the cafeteria, like in the cafeteria, or if it's supposed to go like in a boba tea shop. But either way, I thought it fit in really well in the cafe. And also, if you wanted to have this as a thrift store and a boba tea shop, I don't think you could do that, because you could put a boba station in here and delete the like cafe station. You could delete that and put down a boba tea one. But I don't think you could have it as the boba tea lot, because technically for that one you need to have all of the thrift store items on the lot as well. That's part of, I think that's part of the lot requirements. So I don't think you could do that unless you like completely renovated the interior of everything. And you know, I mean, you could do that, but I can't see why you would want to go through all of that trouble to do it. So yeah, you can't unfortunately do that, but you could put down a boba tea station, I think, and then hire someone to just fill the position and still have this be a restaurant, and then just have a boba tea like part of it instead of a cafe. I think you can do that. I think you can hire people to like tend those stations on like regular lots. I think I haven't playtested that yet. I don't think I've ever done that before in a build, but I think you should be able to. I think it just functions the same way a cafe station, like a coffee station, functions. So yeah, you can just hire a barista for that. So you probably could do it for the boba one as well. But yeah, I can feel my voice going on me. Like, this voiceover is obviously a little bit longer than the park build that I did for Wednesday. So yeah, my voice really is trying to crap out on me, I'm not gonna lie. So if you hear me going like, if you hear my voice going like weird at any point during this, or me going like really hoarse, then I'm sorry. I can't do anything about it. I'm not used to talking for this much. And I did that voiceover, I recorded that video tour. Now I'm doing this one that's like 30 minutes long. I need to record the video tour at the end of this as well. So yeah, it's a lot of talking basically. But yeah, okay, so something else that I wanted to mention, I just remembered, but I wanted to mention that this build was very much inspired by the Eco Cafe build. Not cafe, it wasn't cafe, it was a restaurant. By the Eco restaurant that little Simsy actually did. I can't remember when she did this. I think I watched the VOD of her stream probably sometime last week. Honestly, at this point, I cannot place time. Like, I can't place time for the life of me. So I think it was sometime last week. I also think she did the video of it, like the speed build of it, sometime last week as well. Either way, I'll leave that video linked below. But I saw what she did for that, and it really inspired me for like doing this build, because I've been wanting to build on this lot since we got the pack. I just never had the like inspiration for what I wanted to build. Now, this isn't going to go in my save file. I'm not gonna lie, I originally did this for my save, and I thought that I would add it to my save, and then I had a different idea for what I wanted to do with it, so now it's not going in the save anymore, and I'm gonna do something else. But yeah, so yeah, I've been wanting to build on this lot for a while, but because it's such a weird shape, like I said at the beginning, and such a weird size, you know, I'm not used to building on lots this size. I didn't know what I was gonna do with it. And yeah, also the front of this lot is obviously where I placed the sign, is where the front of the lot is. That's also where, you know, the gallery screenshot is from. It's where Sims will spawn if they come to the lot. So that is the front of the lot. but the lighting on this lot was so irritating. I cut out most of it, but when I was picking wallpapers and like doors and stuff, I kept having to put like the wallpapers and the doors and stuff on the back of the lot so that I could see them in the light, because the sun shines from the back of the lot. And it doesn't matter what time of day you come here, it goes basically from one side of the lot, so like the back right, it goes from the back right of the lot to the back left of the lot as the sun moves. So no matter what time of day it is, the sun will always come from the back of the building. So you'll always have, you know, shadows out the front, as you can see right now. And it is so annoying because you can't see the correct colors of stuff in the front because obviously it's in shadow. So it was driving me absolutely nuts. And even for stuff like screenshots and everything like that, it was not screenshots, but like thumbnail pictures and gallery pictures and all of that stuff. It makes the build, no matter what you build here, it makes it look so bad because the lighting from the front sucks. So yeah, working around that was really irritating, and I'm not looking forward to having to work around that again for like my save file build. So yeah, that is very irritating. I really wish they would pay more attention to stuff like that. I mean, most of the lots in San Sequoia, I'm not gonna lie, most of the lots in San Sequoia, I haven't built on the rec center lot yet, or like, I don't think I've built on many of the like lots in Anchor Point Wharf either, but I've built on a couple of the lots in the Hopewell Hills area, like the more suburban area. I've also built on the other lot in this area, that's the like starter home. I've built there. But all of the lots almost, I can't honestly, off the top of my head, I can't think of a single lot in like San Sequoia that has good lighting. And when I say good lighting, I mean lighting from the front. I don't mean like it's not pretty or the lighting isn't pretty, because it really, really is. But none of them have lighting from the front. And that is so incredibly irritating. Because obviously not every lot is going to be able to do that, because then, you know, where they're placed, just, you know, with the sun, it wouldn't make sense if the sun was from the front of every lot. If they're like, you know, in different orientations and stuff, that just wouldn't physically make sense. But to have almost none of the lots have good lighting, for me personally as a builder, that seems like such an oversight, because how? I mean, it makes it so that none of the builds look good on the gallery because the lighting sucks. It makes it for those of us that do speed builds that have to like think about stuff like thumbnail pictures and stuff like that. It makes it really hard for that, because you can't really get a good thumbnail picture if the front of your build is constantly in the shadow, or like, you know, has like weird shadows because the sun comes from the side of the building. It's weird and annoying, and I don't like that. But anyway, this build has, or this voiceover, has really turned into a lot of ranting at this point, I think. I think I ranted about the size of the lot at the beginning. Then I went on a tangent about, I can't remember what it was, I think it was chairs or something. And now we have the rant about the sun, which, you know, that seems very on par for me, if I'm being completely honest. If you've ever catched like any of the live streams that I've ever done, then you'll know that like 90% of a stream is just me sitting here like talking and complaining and ranting and like raving. Usually also, if I'm really excited about something, I'll go off and I'll talk about it for like ages for no reason. But anyway, I digress. We're just working on the little like fake parking lot that I wanted to put out the back of this lot, or like to the side, I guess I should say. So we have a little parking lot, we have a dumpster where your Sims can woohoo in. But I also add in a little bike rack as well, and that is basically going to be it for this build. I didn't do a lot of landscaping because it's a community lot, and I really did try and make it blend in with the surroundings as much as I could. So the little bit of landscaping that I did do, like in that little front, I guess, grass area next to the parking lot, I tried to make that look as natural as possible. But yeah, that is basically going to be it. We're going to go ahead and jump into the live tour now. Okay, here we are in the world. This is obviously the restaurant and the little cafe, the Green Bean restaurant and cafe. And yeah, this is the lot. This is what it looks like from the front. Apparently, we have Kyle Kyleson acting as a chef, so that's fun. Apparently he's gotten a job. Hopefully he can stop like couch surfing now. But anyway, so yeah, this is the front of the build. That is obviously the little sign, the little custom sign that I made. And we just have some landscaping, some planter boxes with some a little bit more like manicured landscaping, and then obviously we have the more, I guess, wild natural landscaping. But yeah, we have, that's the front of the restaurant. We have the little cafe over here. We have obviously some outdoor seating that I did. And we have these cute little, like, I guess they're not really pergolas. They're more like awnings that we got from Desert Luxe. And I did use them in here in the roof. I put down basically a regular roof. I made it as low as I could, turned it into a glass roof. And then I literally just put those awnings on top of it. So yeah, it made it look like, you know, there's some slats up there as well. And it does make it so that your Sims have like this really nice lighting effect inside, if, you know, the light is shining through. But yeah, so out the back, we do have that little like community garden that I talked about. You have a lot of plants in here. Obviously, not all of them are in season all of the time. And some of them are like flowers, but a lot of them, or like most of them, are actually like stuff that your Sims can use for food. And this also means that your Sims can come here and harvest some of these stuff for their own homes. And we do have a couple of trees as well. We have a cherry tree, pomegranate tree, and a avocado tree. So yeah, we have that little garden area, some more outdoor seating. Out the back, I did want to make sure that your Sims could access the restaurant and that it had like a proper entrance from this side as well. Because obviously this is what I meant with the lot being kind of weird, and it's kind of like in the middle of a little like roundabout median type thing. So it's definitely a little bit weird. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that, you know, your Sims could still access it from this road. And also we have that little like dip driveway ramp thing over here. So that's where I put the little car park area with some debug cars. We have the little dumpster, some bikes, and that is basically the exterior. Now going inside, we obviously have the little restaurant, and as I said, you know, everything works perfectly fine. If you owned the restaurant, you would probably go in and like lock these gates. You can lock them for like household Sims only or like employees only, so that regular Sims, you know, can't go back there. But yeah, so we have a little like waiting area. We have the check-in desk. We have a little bar that obviously does work. We have obviously all of like the seating on the interior. We have obviously, you know, a little bathroom. I keep saying obviously, and I think that's just because I've been recording for like the past hour and a half. So yeah, we have the little bathroom with the little like infant and toddler changing station. Obviously some regular toilets. I also did put in a toddler potty as well. So if you have toddlers here and you don't want them to like use their diapers, they can use the little potty that I put down. Now going through here, going through these sliding doors, these basically just lead your Sims out onto the little like patio area. And also obviously, you know, to the back. And you can also go into the little cafe from this area. And if you click on this little barista station, your Sims can just hire a barista, and that would work perfectly fine. I don't know why they can't hire one right now. Oh, you can, yeah, hire staff. So yeah, you can just hire a barista and your Sims can come here for coffee, and they don't actually have to check in to the restaurant to just come here for coffee. So that would work perfectly fine. Now, yeah, your Sims can still, you know, sit at the like bar counters. They can sit on the chairs and, you know, all of that stuff. You have the little like infant playmat over there, and those laptops that your Sims can't actually use because they're not technically, you know, you can click on them, but they can't actually sit there and use them. So yeah, that's really good. But yeah, that's basically the interior of the cafe and the restaurant. And then downstairs we literally just have the kitchen. Clearly, you know, as you can see, everything works perfectly fine. Your Sims will come in, they'll pick up the food. You have, you know, a couple of like storage items and storage space. That doesn't really serve a purpose apart from realism. And then also we have the little like employee area, which again, your Sims can come down here and they can like use the mirror, change their outfit or whatever, but it doesn't really serve a purpose to the employees, again, apart from being realistic. So yeah, we have that. And yeah, that is basically the entire kitchen and basically the entire build as well. So yeah, that is basically the build. I'm going to show you guys a little top-down view of it because I know a lot of you actually really like and really appreciate. What am I doing? There we go. Appreciate if I do a little like top-down view for the floor plan stuff. So this is obviously the roof, and then we have the first floor, or like the main floor, ground floor, whatever you want to call it, with the grid. So if you want to pause the video to like look at it, then here you go. And then we just have the little like downstairs kitchen area as well, and that is basically it, you guys. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this build. I hope it hasn't been too rambly. I do apologize for my voice being all weird. But yeah, like I said, I've been recording for a very long time and I'm not used to talking this much. But yeah, this is the build. I hope you enjoyed it. It is up on the gallery if you want to download it. It's completely custom content free, but I did not pack restrict myself at all. So I did use quite a few different packs. But yeah, it is up on the gallery if you want to go ahead and download it. My gallery ID and the download link is always in the description. But I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give the video a like. If you're new to the channel and you'd like to see some more Sims content, feel free to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell as well to be notified of whenever I upload a new video. But if you guys have any other ideas or suggestions for what I could possibly do on this lot, or what you would like to maybe see on this lot, because I do have a couple of ideas, but I don't want to spoil any of it. So if you have any ideas, feel free to leave them down below in the comments as well. And yeah, I hope you're all having a great day, a great Friday, and that you're looking forward to the weekend. And I'll talk to you in my very next video. Bye everyone.